What it is, what it do. I'm A1, this is the Division, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you all one of my go-to builds, and that build is the Tanktician build. Now there's a couple reasons why I wanted to show this build. One reason is because it's extremely useful when it comes to PvE, whether you're trying to play heroic underground or heroic incursions. This build can be extremely useful. And another reason I wanted to show this build is because I've never shown any of my Tactician Authority builds on this channel. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go ahead and start off with the chest piece. And there is some room for improvement when it comes to this build. As you can see, it only has a gear score of 240. So I'm still waiting to get that 268 chest piece. Haven't been that lucky yet. Anyways, as you can see, it's a stamina piece, and all these pieces are stamina pieces, except for the holster, which has all three. But you see, it came with armor, exotic damage, resilience, and that's another thing I'm gonna go over a little bit later. That exotic damage, resilience. Obviously, I would rather have increased ammo capacity instead of increased kill XP, and don't really use the turret that often, so there's some room for improvement there as well. But there's my chest piece. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mask, and this is a 268 mask. This also has exotic damage resilience, and it's a stamina mask. Minor attributes is enemy armor damage, which is perfect. And for the skill attributes, we got first aid, ally heal, which is also good because I do use the first aid. So that is a very good Tactician's Authority mask. Alright, so my next Tactician piece is the backpack, and this is a 240 backpack. I do have a 268 Tactician's backpack, but I put it on another character because I like this one better. Anyways, this one's also stamina, and as you can see, the major attribute is skill power, which is perfect. The minor attribute is ammo capacity, which is good, and I don't really use the turret or the support station with this build. So there is some room for improvement when it comes to the skill attributes. But the last Tactician piece that I'm using is the gloves, and I believe these are 268. Yep, 268 gloves, and I feel like these have the perfect role. It came with marksman rifle damage, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. And for the skill attribute, we have smart cover damage increase, which is one of the skills that I use, the smart cover. And again, these are stamina gloves. So yeah, those are my 4 Tactician pieces. And with this build, I also use 2 final measure pieces. For the knee pads, we have more exotic damage resilience and armor. And it also has enemy armor damage for the minor attribute, which is good. Don't really use the seeker mine that often, so a little bit of room for improvement there. But these are also stamina knee pads as well. And last up, we have my final measure holster, and as you can see, we have between 720 and 730 for each firearm, stamina, and electronics, which is perfect. We also have armor as the major attribute and first aid, ally heal as a skill attribute, which is great because again, I do use the first aid. So that's my entire build. As for the gear mods, we have 2 stamina gear mods on my chest piece. One is crit hit chance, one is exotic damage resilience. One of them has 140 stamina, the other only has 136. And for my mask, we have another stamina mod with crit hit chance, and I believe, let's see how much that one was. That's 154 stamina, so that's pretty good. And on my backpack, we have another stamina piece. This one's 143, and it came with crit hit chance. So most of them are stamina mods with crit hit chance. Alright, so as for my weapons, and I do switch my weapons out often, but for the ones that I have equipped right now, one of them's the M44 marksman rifle, 171% headshot damage. I don't have a couple of the talents unlocked with this build, but it really doesn't matter because this is not a DPS build. This is more of a support build, and the talent that I do have unlocked is ferocious, so again, it's really good for PvE. And for my secondary weapon that I have equipped right now is the custom MA70, and the talent that's unlocked is responsive, but it also has brutal and vicious. So those are the two weapons that I have equipped right now. Again, I do use a bunch of other weapons as well. I guess we can go ahead and take a look at the mods that I got on it. Headshot damage, accuracy, weapon damage, which I would strongly recommend for marksman rifles. And it also has an increase in magazine size. For the grip, we have accuracy and hip fire accuracy, and for the muzzle, we have accuracy and crit hit damage. For the shotgun, let's see what we have. Accuracy and crit hit chance. We also have rate of fire and weapon damage, which is really good. And we also have hip fire accuracy and accuracy. So those are my weapon mods. I guess we can go ahead and take a look at my pistol. It's the First Wave X45. It has Expert and Fierce, which isn't unlocked right now. And when it comes to the weapon mods, we have rate of fire and magazine size. We also have a small laser pointer, which gives you hip fire accuracy and horizontal stability. And we also have crit hit damage and accuracy. So that's pretty much it when it comes to my weapons that I'm currently using. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and quickly take a look at the attributes and my stats. I only have a gear score of 246 because I do have a couple 240 pieces that I'm using. Let's see, I got 1200 firearms, over 5000 stamina, 1200 electronics. When it comes to my weapons, let's see. It's pretty low for the crit hit chance. I think that's either for my pistol or my marksman rifle, but it's really low. Crit hit damage, headshot damage, accuracy, stability. I think the main things I wanted to point out were my survival attributes, because that's sort of the best part about this build is the survival aspect of it. But as you can see, we got 17% enemy armor damage, which is really good. Even though we don't have a lot of DPS, it's still good. Skill power, decent skill power. And that's another thing I wanted to point out. With tactician builds, if you have 4 tactician pieces, you really don't need more than, I would say, 25,000 skill power. Because once you and your fire team start doing damage, your skill power is going to start building up. And eventually it's going to end up doubling. So most of the skills, I believe, end up maxing out around 50,000 skill power. If you don't have any skill attributes on your armor, it usually maxes out around 50,000. So there's really no point in having more than 25,000 because, again, once you and your fire team start doing damage, your skill power is going to build up if you have 4 tactician pieces. So yeah, that's why I only have 23,000 skill power. Once people in my team start doing damage, that's eventually going to move all the way up to 46,000. So that's another thing I wanted to point out with this build. We also have 20% skill haste. But yeah, when you have a lot of skill power and skill haste, you really don't have to wait for your cooldown for your skills. Usually once your smart cover disappears or something like that, you'll already have another one ready to go with this build. 0% signature skill resource gain. Let's go ahead and look at the survivability. That was the main thing I wanted to point out. A lot of health, 158,000 health as a matter of fact, which is a lot. 75% armor mitigation, health regen, protection from elites. And as you see, I have 90% exotic damage resilience, which is another thing I wanted to point out with this build. This allows me to survive mortars, grenades, basically any type of damage that isn't a regular bullet. So as you can see, I have 90%, which is the max. And yeah, I can practically survive just about anything when my skill power is maxed, and when I'm in my smart cover, I can just about survive anything. So that was another thing I wanted to point out with this build. 75% armor mitigation, 90% exotic damage resilience. As you can see, we have over 600,000 toughness, and our skill power can go all the way up to 46,000. And I also have some electronic mods as well that I could equip if I wanted to get it even higher than that. So yeah, that was one of the main things I want to point out with this build. It's extremely useful when it comes to PvE. It doesn't matter whether it's heroic missions or heroic incursions or the heroic underground. This build will help you survive no matter what PvE game mode you're playing. So Yeah, that was the main thing I wanted to point out. The armor mitigation, exotic damage resilience. We can go ahead and quickly scroll through the rest as well. I do like that burn resistance, and I also like shock and bleed resistance as well. Again, increased kill XP is sort of useless at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to all my stats. Again, when it comes to the abilities, I'm using first aid with the overdose, and sometimes I switch that up to a booster shot. Let's say if we're doing Dragon's Nest or something like that, and I'm trying to help one of the DPS guys build up their DPS, I'll use the booster shot. But for right now, we're using overdose, and we're also using the smart cover with the recharger mod and the survivor link signature skill. And I guess we can go ahead and show my talents real quick for those who are wondering. If you're going to be using first aid, I would definitely recommend that you use the triage talent, one of the best talents in the game. I'm also using critical save, so if I ever need to use a med kit, it'll give me a little damage resistance, help me out a little bit, make me even more tanky. I'm also using the one is none, mainly because I'm using shotguns, and for those who don't know, when you're using shotguns and you're getting headshots, it seems like one is none almost procs almost all the time, it seems like, almost. So that's a really good talent to use if you plan on using shotguns. And my last talent is on the move. I'm not even sure why I'm using this talent, but that's the one I have equipped at the moment. So yeah, those are my 4 talents. Anyways, it pretty much sums it up when it comes to my main Tactician Authority build on my main character. It's really useful when it comes to PvE. I would label it more of a support build / medic build, because it's really easy to revive your teammates with this build. All you have to do is make sure your skill power is maxed out, shoot a smart cover near their body, pop the first aid, and then go into that smart cover, and you should be able to revive your teammates really easy with this build. So I would label it more of a support / medic build. It's really great when it comes to any PvE game mode, and it's one of my best support builds. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to my Tactician Authority build on my main character. I also have another similar Tactician Authority build on another character, which I'm about to show now. But that one has a little bit more DPS, and I'm just going to quickly show you the attributes. But I did want to show this other Tactician Authority build because it is built slightly different. It has more DPS, and I know some people out there prefer having a little bit more DPS than the one that I just showed. So we're going to go ahead and show this other build right here. As you can see, my marksman rifle has 128,000 DPS. We have over 2,800 firearms, 112,000 DPS for my shotgun, 99,000 for my pistol. We only have 400,000 toughness with this build, only 21,000 skill power, and that can be altered with the gear mods that we use. Excuse me, NPC, just rude for no reason. Let's try going over here. But yeah, let's go ahead and quickly scroll through these. 240 chest piece. Again, I don't have a 268 tactician vest yet. It has armor, exotic damage resilience, first aid self-heal, which is good, and that's a stamina piece. We also have a final measure mask, and this is 268, and this one came with damage to elites, burn resistance, pulse crit hit chance. This is also another stamina piece, and it has a firearms mod. What kind of mods did I have on the chest piece? Electronics with skill power, electronics with crit hit chance. I was trying to increase that skill power a little bit to get it over 40,000. For the knee pads, let's see, damage to elites, more damage to elites. We also got enemy armor damage as a minor attribute, which is good, and skill attributes is pulse duration, and that's another stamina piece. So those were all stamina pieces right there. For my backpack, we have armor as a major attribute, and this is a firearms backpack. We also have bleed resistance, and ballistic shield and pulse crit hit damage for my skill attributes. For my gloves, these are firearms gloves, and we have crit hit damage, damage to elites, marksman rifle damage. So we have a lot of damage to elites with this build, which is good. And for the holster, we have armor, first aid, ally heal, and only 600 for each. But yeah, that's more of a DPS version of the Tactician Authority build. Again, this is one of my alternate characters. And as you can see, we do have all the talents unlocked. We have Destructive, Brutal, and Vicious, 149% headshot damage. And for the shotgun, we have Self-Preserved, Vicious, and Fierce with 255% stagger. So yeah, those are my two Tactician Authority builds. Again, one of them's more of a support / medic build. This one's more of a support / DPS build. I wouldn't recommend, you know, running out in the open to revive your teammates with this build, but nevertheless, it is a really good build to use. But yeah, those are my two Tactician Authority builds. Again, one of them's more of a support / medic build, and this other one's more of a support / DPS build. Just wanted to show y'all that you can alter it and tweak it to fit your play style. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to my two variations of the Tactician Authority build. Be sure to let me know in the comments what build y'all want to see me do next. Also, if y'all enjoyed the video or found it useful in any way, don't forget to do what you do. I'm A1. Thanks for watching.